Okay, it is 7:05 on Thursday, June 4th. We're going to call the Wilton Board of Education regular meeting to order. Has everybody had a chance to look at the agenda? Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Lori. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Nicola. All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Comments from the public. The board has set aside time at the beginning and end of regular meetings for public comments for members of the public to share their views on matters involving the Wilton Public Schools and to help inform the board's decisions on such matters. 2 minutes will be allotted to each speaker and a maximum of 15 minutes to any one subject. For the record, please also give your name and address. The board considers the views of citizens in its deliberations and welcomes and appreciates public comment. The board listens to public comment thoughtfully and with interest. The board, however, generally does not respond to public comment during board meetings by offering commentary or answering questions. The board also invites commentators and the public to contact the board and the superintendent directly with any specific questions or comments. Are there any comments from the public? Hearing none. Right. Okay. We'll move on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda has policy 4118.11 on it, non-discrimination, staff for technical changes. Policy 5145, students in section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973. And Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990. Again, these are technical changes, staff name. Regulation 5145, students in section 504. No, that's a duplicate. Regulation 5141, food allergy management. Again, technical change, staff name. We are going to retire policy 5145.44B due to regulatory compliance reversion. Also on the consent agenda are personnel changes, the minutes from our regular meeting from May 7th, the minutes from our executive session on May 7th, the gifts, grants, and bequests of 25-26, a collective thank you. And also the reappointment, contract modifications, and compensation for Charles Smith, Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction, Melissa Barrett, Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction. That should be special education, correct?
Special services.
Special services. And Maria Coleman, Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Lori. Any discussion or questions? Is there a second?
Good for
We're gonna wait each other out. Okay, I'll second.
Thank you, Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Consent agenda carries unanimously. And now we move on to all you in the room and reports and recognition.
Great. So Mrs. Brees is here, and she's been here in the past. One of the many responsibilities she has is to serve as a member of the Area 9 Cable Council, which is a kind of government-controlled regulatory agency that manages cable access here down in Lower Fairfield County, which nobody cares about. But what we do care about is that the Area 9 Cable Council also comes together and generously supports our video production programs through grants. And Maria and her team have put together over the years many fine examples of digital and video and digital media. And this year they hold a contest annually, and this year we were exceptionally successful. So I want to first say thank you for your incredible work, and also turn it over to you so you can introduce everybody and tell us what everybody's up to, and then we can distribute some certificates.
All right, well, thank you so much for allowing me to be here. I am going to invite Marnie Lindquist from middle school to come up with me, because this year was middle school. You can come on up. Middle school's first year piloting the program, actually bringing the program back to life, and it was amazing because they have brought the John Rapicki Award, which we have not won since 5 years, and this is what the trophy looks like. We won it 5 years ago at the Middlebrook School, and we won it this year at the high school and middle school. We won total of to all the school districts. We competed with Westport, New Canaan, Sacred Heart, Greenwich. When we looked at all of our work, it was exceptional. We won over 19 awards. Miller Driscoll won, Cider Mill won, and then the middle school and high school, we just really rocked it this year. And it was our students. We are doing an amazing job, and we're proud of them as their educators and as their parents. We just like to show off their work, and this is for them. The high school trophies are downstairs, so the students don't get to keep the trophies. They stay in the school. So if you ever want to see them, they're all over. I didn't want to carry, my husband already carried the boxes up here. I didn't want to make the high school trophies to be upstairs, but they're beautiful and they'll be displayed. But the students do get medals, and Lucille did an amazing job by printing little certificates for them. So, the students are amazing. All their work is posted. There's a video that was created, and I'll post it on YouTube. You can check it out if you haven't seen it, because I know it's, children, they don't share their work all the time. And I'll ask my daughter, could you show me what you did? Oh yeah, I'll send it to you. So I will share their work, and you are welcome to email me if you'd like as well. I know Marty wanted to say a few things before we announce the names.
I just want to say how proud I am of the middle school students. This is the first year we've had Video Production Club, and they have really stepped up. They come every Thursday morning before school. They've taught themselves how to edit. They created a morning news show and write the script on Wednesdays, come in and film on Wednesday, edit Friday, Saturday. They've been doing such a great job. I'm so proud, and their skills have gotten so much better. What they're doing now is better than the films that they submitted to the contest. So just some great learning, and we had some great videos come out of class projects as well. So in fact, the John Rapicki Award was really a independent student project that she created out of a project, really independent. So really great work.
And the John Rapicki that we won, which actually was an independent project that was done for a media class for me, which you'll see, is Will DeBernardis, who is here hiding somewhere in the back. If you guys can come on in. It's a video that we created, there he is. It's a video that's created for our school district. It's why do you want to come to Wilton Public Schools? Kevin had asked, Dr. Smith said, we want a video like this, like 2 years ago he had asked, and we were like, all right, we're going to put this together. And then Will joined my class, and I said, well, can we do something like this? And he said, yeah, we could do this. And I was like, all right. And we started working on it, and it was a project that he started in class. And when I showed this to a group of all educators sitting there, their first impression was, did you pay somebody? I mean, this is exceptional. And I was like, it is. And, when you see it today, because today will be our release day, as we're calling it, we'll share it with you. It is well done. And when you watch it, it is something. Why do people want to come to Wilton Public Schools? And I think he did a great job showing why. So we want to give this award because there's 2 more awards that we want to share about what our amazing program, I think, career and technical education in general has been doing. But this is for the high school. I'll announce them. I think this is Will. Oh, no, sorry, wrong words. So Will, this is yours first since you are up here. And the next one is Taylor. Zabo, come on up. Awesome. Does Maurice want to come up with her?
I think she might have been.
All right. There she is.
Oh, Antonio's, he's here.
Yeah, there you are. Come on up. So if you didn't get to see it, it was published in Good Morning Wilton. The middle schools, do you want to announce those?
Yes, okay. So the John Rapicki Award goes to Elle Schroeder.
Yeah.
Story about her grandmother coming to America. Really beautiful. And we also have an award for first place for documentary film, Grace to Phillips. And then our news team won second place for best news show. So Nick, Pamela, come on up. There we go. That's for you and Michael, Boyce, and Emily Connell.
Yeah.
Another one for you, Grace. Just a second. I think it's in here somewhere. It might be down there. I'll give it to
Oh,
you.
I think it might be in this one.
We'll give it to you.
All right, the next, one more. For Miller Driscoll, they did win, Miller Driscoll TV did win. We do have a student who won PSA, no other than my own son, Leon Breeze. Yeah, I did not do his video for him, by the way.
Do you have his teacher certification yet?
You do not want, it looks like he's had 5 cups of coffee already. But, all right, the next thing we want to do is, we'll do actually the same category, is 3 boys this year. If you saw Good Morning Wilton article again, they had the opportunity, fully paid for by Impact Teen drivers, and they were taken down to Maryland. Gavin, Ryan, and Hans, they're all here, and they got a chance to present at a national conference about safe driving. The work that they did here at Wilton in the community, working with the police officers and organizing a 5K, running an event at the high school about safe driving. And then they went to this conference and they presented in front of hundreds of people. Now, I was very nervous to take them, but they did an amazing job. Miss Green went with me, she was there, and they were just watching them speak and get up in front of all these people. I will tell you, they were just amazing. They were one of the best out there. Like, they spoke in front of them. The lady who was the CEO of the organization came up to me and said, they were amazing, great public speaking skills. And, you know, they got up, they just went up and so confident, didn't look at the slides, just really well rehearsed, and I couldn't be more proud. I mean, Gavin's mom might have been crying a little, and I said rightfully so. Like, I was so proud of them. Seeing them grow into young, mature men, it was nice. You see them as goofballs, but then you see them grow. It's wonderful. And, you know, not only did they represent Wilton really well, they have shown that they really do care about making a difference, and they're young change agents, and they're making a difference in our society. And that's one step closer to something they're going to do in their life. And I'm proud of them, and I think so we should all be, that they're making a great representation for Wilton. And that was in Wilton. They went to Maryland this year. So they have some goals for next year already that they're working on. They also brought to our school for our program about $8,000. So great job.
You boys all drive?
Yeah.
Safely. Cell phones and trunks.
Ryan, thank you guys. All right, last one I'm going to share before we watch a quick video is, you might have seen another article recently, was our marketing students. We did a very authentic project. We talk about really rigorous and authentic work, you know, being done in our classrooms. Halden and Taylor is not here, but Halden is. And, you know, the town EDC had reached out to us and they said, hey, you know, we really want to revamp our 40 things we love about Wilton. What are your ideas? And we said, well, we could do this. We have the talent right here in our classrooms. So we invited EDC to come work with our students, and each group kind of put together something. And the group that was selected was Halden and Taylor. So in the next few months, you'll see a new 40 things about Wilton, and that was designed and created 100% photos, writing, everything by our students, and that's Halden and Taylor. Halden, you want to come on up? Where are you?
Yeah, let's have all the winners come forward. You guys, you and Marnie, we'll have some of my administrative friends get your wide angle lens out and take a few pictures, and then we'll watch it.
Okay, perfect. Come on up. Where do you want to go? That way?
Just crowd in here, as is our tradition, under our Wilton Public Schools sign.
Come on down.
Not licensed to do this.
Scooch in.
Yeah, you guys gotta get close.
Double up.
Go forward.
Okay, whatever. LJ, go up next to your mom. No, work.
Yeah, okay, that works.
Tell me.
I don't think I have. Oh, yes. I want to come up. Can you see us all? Squeeze it.
Squeeze it between the flags.
All right. Oh, between the flags?
You're good, Will.
Squeeze in, Will. There we go.
All right, everybody look at all the cameras.
Super.
And here's the video. I think Lucille has it. And,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
We're able to, yeah, let's get it going.
no, watch it.
It's impressive.
Catching flies. The sooner we can get off that still image.
Pictures.
Yeah, start it, please. I'm begging you.
What's much better?
The students are passionate, they're purposeful, they're caring, they're creative. I see this across, all of our classrooms at every grade.
They have come up with some mind-blowing projects. I have a lot of hope for the future when I see these kids.
One of the attributes that we talk about are students being multi-literate scholars. And so, beginning at our various early ages, at Miller Driscoll, for example, students are learning to code language. We see that progression all the way through at Cedar Mill, at Middlebrook, and here at the high school, where students are learning a range of languages at very sophisticated levels.
I love being here. I love being in this class. Right now, this period or this moment with these kids, I don't know what's going on in their lives. Certainly got to tend to business. But if I can bring gaming into the classroom, if I can strategically sort of make a moment that's fun and interactive, and I know these things come.
Wilton Public Schools here academic institution. We have outstanding schools, pre-K to 12. We have the best teachers, I believe, in the country. They are outstanding. We have dedicated students. We stay on top of our craft, so we have curricula. It's a really strong academic program, and it is consistent what happens here, that when kids come back, they always report about how well prepared they are. They often say that college is actually easy because they're so well prepared.
What I see in the students, all those different things of bias and bias chemistry is the sense of all these things.
I get to work in one of the best spaces in the town of Wilton, our schools. We're lucky with the resources we have here in Wilton to be able to provide some of these spaces we have for our students and our learners.
Here in the community, everyone comes together to make anything possible. Whether it's the PTSA, the Wilton Education Foundation, the boosters, everyone comes together to make anything you want possible.
There is a general sense of supporting each other, no matter if you're in theater or if you're an athlete.
We talk
values of collaboration, and not just collaboration for the sake of collaboration, but collaboration for the purpose of making the world a better place. And so across the entire district, I see our students working on passion projects through grade level curricula, and really aiming and addressing all kinds of problems that they're going to be confronted when they leave the halls of Wilton High School.
These kids are going to go out there and light up the world.
Is Phil still in the room?
Yeah, he's.
Will, stand up and take a bow. A labor of love, anything you want to offer?
Yeah, I was gonna say this was such a fun project to create. I love
With olive oil, we're getting made in Italy. Has nothing to do with
There we go.
Very good.
Great. Well, one more time, because we were listening to an olive oil commercial.
Oh yeah, just yeah, this was such a fun project to create. Everybody, I couldn't do it without people like Dr. Priest or Dr. Harvey or Dr. O'Donnell or Mr. Smith. Anybody working in the video, like it just or speaking for the video. These takes are long takes, and most of these takes here, I just grabbed a little section and I didn't, nothing has changed from what people said. It's the video was such a joy to create, but the words are true. This community is amazing. I feel so lucky to be here and have gone through the school system. And yeah, thank you so much for letting me make the video, Mrs. Brees. It was such a joy to create. And yeah, thank you so much for Wilton Public Schools.
And hold one more question. What are your plans next year?
I'm attending Chapman University for film and media production.
Great. Maria, Marty, thank you. John. So for you, your students, just always incredible work. And you don't have to stay for the rest of the meeting. If you want to. You're always welcome.
Thank you.
Thank
Our
you.
students do such great work. It is just an honor to work with them every day.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we'll move on to recognition of retirees.
Great, so this is really time-honored tradition, and I'm so glad we have so many friendly faces in the audience. Tonight we have an opportunity to begin our farewells to many who have so faithfully served this community for so many years. And so we'll start with Mrs. Kuhn and just work our way, and then I'll conclude it with the district level. You're up.
Bringing Carol up, or how do you want to do this? Where do you want to do this?
Right in the middle. No, right from where you are.
Right from where I am?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have my Kleenex just in case. So buckle up, people. Don't film me.
Never.
Yeah,
I would never.
All right. It's hard to write a speech about someone who has meant so much to so many people. For 48 years, Carol has dedicated her life to teaching children. Think about that for a moment. 48 years. That's longer than many people in this room have been alive. I'm gonna look at like sir. Not you, but someone over here. She began her career as a kindergarten teacher, and despite the many roles she's held over the years, she still proudly considers herself a kindergarten teacher. In fact, people joke often that Carol has repeated kindergarten more times than anyone. As a math interventionist, we have all had the privilege of watching Carol work her magic with students. Her teaching begins the moment she picks them up from the classroom, often doing math problems all the way down the hallway. The relationships she builds with her students are remarkable, and so is the progress they make. In fact, when a student is ready to leave intervention, Carol sometimes struggles more than anyone else. The conversation goes like this: Carol, the student is doing great. They've mastered all the skills. They're ready to exit. And Carol responds, well, maybe just a couple more weeks. That says something about how deeply she cares for her students. As I prepared these remarks, I asked colleagues to share stories about Carol, and what struck me was that every story reflected the same thing. Carol's impact extends far beyond the classroom. One colleague shared that more than 30 years ago, Carol taught kindergarten, a kindergarten student with significant needs. Today, that former student who now lives out of state still travels to Connecticut to visit Carol, share dinner, and spend time together. Their relationship has lasted decades, and Carol never stops being a teacher, mentor, and friend. Another former student's family sends Carol flowers on the first day of school every year, even though their child is now in high school, is their way of saying thank you. And perhaps one of the most touching stories is about a former student who experienced a difficult period in her life. Carol quietly became her secret Santa, providing gifts at Christmas, and years later she continues that tradition because she cares. Her colleagues also remember the countless ways she brought families into her students' learning. One favorite memory was her Thanksgiving cornbread project in kindergarten. Students mixed ingredients, baked small loaves of cornbread, created books about what they were thankful for, and proudly brought everything home to share with their families. Even as education changed, that philosophy never did. As a math interventionist, she continued to invite families into the learning process, creating opportunities for her students to share math games and skills with their parents. She made children proud of what they did. One colleague shared a personal story about her son struggling with algebra. When Carol heard about it, she immediately offered to help. She went to their house. She sat at the dining room table. She encouraged him. She even motivated him with York peppermint patties. And years later, he still talks about how Carol rescued him. Once you become one of Carol's chicklets, you are always one of Carol's chicklets. And that may be the best way to describe Carol. Her students are never just students. They are part of her extended family. Seriously, Carol is one of those rare people who leaves every place better than she found it. She is an exceptional educator, a loving mother and grandmother, or chick, as her grandchildren call her, a trusted mentor, a caring colleague, and a loyal friend. The number of lives she has touched is impossible to measure, but the stories we have heard today give us a glimpse into her extraordinary legacy. Thank you for your 48 years of service, Carol. We are all better because of you. It's an amazing new picture book, and it's a sneaky way to get kids to count all the way to 100. So this will be dedicated in our library.
I love it.
Just for you. All right, we love you.
It's great. Batter up. Can you turn this way?
Yeah, it's so, like, I was gonna say, we could like have them come and sit in the hot seat, but that would just be
More awkward. Okay.
so deal with the weirdness of the room.
Okay. There ain't no way you can hold on to something that wants to go. You understand? You can only love what you got while you got it. This quote is from the book Because of Winn-Dixie that Jean chose to remain in the Cider Mill LLC. Jean, for 26 years, Cider Mill has been so incredibly lucky to have you to hold on to and to share your love. You have poured boundless energy, deep wisdom, and a kind heart into your teaching. Therefore, hundreds of children are now out in the community, making it a better place because they had the privilege of being in your classroom. Additionally, you have been a thoughtful and impactful colleague to many new and veteran teachers alike. You epitomize the definition of a lifelong learner as you experienced many changes in education models and curriculum throughout your tenure and faced each with an open mind and a desire to learn. Though we haven't been colleagues for long, it is easy to see the impact you have on your students. I love that your classroom 2 years ago found it necessary to plan a party for you. They worked hard to honor you, and those speeches today were truly amazing. While you're retiring from teaching, the community you built, the acceptance you taught, and the love you shared will be with your students and colleagues forever, just as it is in the book that you chose. I am confident there are many former students out there that are saying, because of Mrs. Yates. Thank you for your 43 years of service in education. We are blessed in that we got most of those years here at Center Mill. Your dedication is unmatched. All your best to you as you begin new adventures. May your retirement be filled with joy, love, and laughter, and maybe a few long-term sub jobs. We will do all we can to hold on to you. Thank you, Jean. Well, I already said she chose.
Oh, and I forgot to give the star.
What?
Closer, but you should be in the back row. How about in that spot? Here, now you get to sit next to me. Well, good evening, everyone. It's indeed my pleasure to celebrate an extraordinary educator, colleague, mentor, friend, and fellow dance parent, Val Randazzo. After 30 years of teaching middle school students, including time in the Bronx, Rye, New York, and the last 21 years here at Middlebrook, Val's beginning a well-deserved retirement. While it's probably impossible to fully capture the impact of 3 decades in education, there are a few things that anyone who's worked with Val knows to be true. Teaching middle school students requires patience, resilience, humor, compassion, and an unwavering belief in young people. And Val has embodied all of those qualities throughout her career. There's one thing that defines Val, it's her commitment to students. Nobody works harder. No one is more determined. When it meant staying after school, meeting individually with students, partnering with families, collaborating with colleagues, or finding yet another way to help a child succeed, Val never stopped asking, what more can I do? For Val, teaching and helping students has never been just a job. It's been her mission. Over the years, thousands of students have walked through her classroom doors. They may not remember every lesson, assignment, or assessment, but as Maya Angelou said, they will always remember how she made them feel. They will remember a teacher who cared deeply, expected their best, and never gave up on them, even when they were ready to give up on themselves. Val's impact extends beyond her students. She's been a trusted teammate, a thoughtful collaborator, and a passionate advocate for doing what is right for kids. Her wisdom, her experience, and her dedication have made us all better. On a personal note, as one of those many things we've shared outside of school as dance parents, as our kids were growing up, anyone who's lived that life knows it involves late nights, competitions, recitals, costume changes, countless miles on the road, and a load of cheering from the sidelines. Through those experiences, I've seen that same dedication and love, as well as her unwavering support that have defined Val's work as an educator, reflected in her role as a parent. It's been a privilege to share that journey with her. Tonight, it's especially fitting that we honor Val with the dedication of a book in her name, which she chose, Echo, by Pam Munoz Ryan. Throughout her career, Val has helped students become stronger, more confident readers. She understood that reading is more than a skill. It's a gateway to opportunity, growth, and lifelong learning. A book is a fitting tribute to someone who spent her career helping students discover the power that books can hold. And as we celebrate Val, we celebrate the countless lives she's touched. Val, the measure of a career in education is not found in years served, but in lives changed. By that measure, your impact is immeasurable. Thank you for your 30 years of service, your tireless dedication, your steadfast belief in the potential in every student. Thank you for the difference you've made in the lives of the students in the Bronx and in Rye, New York, but most especially here at Middlebrook. You leave behind a legacy of determination, compassion, and excellence that will continue to shape our community long after your final class. On behalf of your colleagues, students, families, and the entire Middlebrook community, congratulations on an incredible career. We wish you a retirement filled with joy and adventure and all the opportunities you spent so many years creating for others. So please join me in congratulating and celebrating a remarkable teacher, colleague, parent, and friend, Val Randall. Val, I'll give you this so that all those things you didn't hear me say, you can have, okay?
Marie, Max, and Trish, can you be thankful over there so people will see it? You're so important to be well recognized.
Please line up exactly. Rows between two thorns.
Amy's getting a picture for Instagram.
Yeah.
So we'll begin with Marie. Marie Aspinwall. We were incredibly fortunate when Marie joined Wilton Public Schools in 2003, bringing with her a highly successful background in law from Sikorsky. She was a very successful attorney before coming here. Marie quickly became an extraordinary high school teacher known for exceptional intelligence, eloquence, and her meticulous planning. She created engaging learning environments where students thrived through debates, simulated court cases, and project-based learning experiences. Her inclusive and multidimensional tasks had a remarkable ability to captivate any high school student, truly bringing social studies to life for them. At her core, Marie masterfully taught students how to conduct research on important issues, form well-reasoned opinions, take a stance, and defend their stance with factual information. Over her career, Marie has guided more than 2,300 students, always prioritizing their best interests. She saw each student as an individual, caring deeply about their success. Her passion for helping struggling learners was evident from the beginning, and I have personally witnessed her dedication to their remarkable achievements. While Marie possessed a kind heart, she was never a pushover. She was always prepared to advocate vigorously for what she believed was right for her students, engaging with administrators and colleagues when necessary. She was a master of disagreeing professionally while never ever being disagreeable. Marie's versatility as an educator was remarkable. Throughout her tenure, she taught a wide array of subjects, all very well, I might add, including African studies, civics and citizenship, flex, government, independent studies of choice, psychology, law, AP government, U.S. history, world history, and Western civilization, to name just a few. No matter the assignment, Marie transformed it into a clear success. Even as retirement approached, she embraced the challenge of developing the honors area studies curriculum, and she taught it for its first 2 years and engaged her students very deeply, and they speak very highly of her. Marie, beyond all your professional accomplishments, quite simply, you're an amazing human being. We will not only miss you as a teacher, but even more as a person. While your departure is a significant loss for our school, I'm genuinely excited for you to embark on this next point in your career and next chapter in your life. I extend my warmest wishes for a wonderful retirement. Marie and her husband, Tim, are eagerly looking forward to this new phase, which will include some visits to Patrick, their son, and certainly some trips to visit Kate and her husband in Munich, Germany. Marie, we wish you the best. We love you. We're going to miss you. Maria. And for Marie, we have We the Women, the Hidden Heroes Who Shaped America by my cousin Nora O'Donnell.
One of my topics, I love the idea of women empowered. Thank you.
Which is evident in your room. Marie Aspinwall. Our very, very dear colleague, Max Gabrielson. Today we are celebrating the incredible career of Max Gabrielson, a true scholar,
a lifelong learner, and a cornerstone of our Wilton High School community. Max's curiosity spans everything from literature and philosophy to politics and fishing. But it is his dedication to the ancient world that has left an indelible mark on all of us. For years, Max has inspired our students through the teaching of Latin and ancient Greek. As the day begins at Wilton High School, Max is already in his classroom teaching early morning Greek to a dedicated group of tremendous learners and students. Through memorable trips to the Met, theater performances, State Latin Day, he hasn't just taught a language, he has kept the ancient world vibrant and alive for generations of modern teenagers. When people picture a veteran classics teacher, they might imagine someone tucked away in a dusty corner of the library surrounded by crumbling scrolls. But with Max, the reality is entirely different. While there may be a lot of books involved, Max himself is defined by his sharp wit, his humility, and a classroom where students feel like anything is possible. The sheer volume of medals and honors his students bring home from national exams every year isn't just a testament to their hard work, it's a reflection of Max's refusal to let them be anything less than excellent. He has never been motivated by award or accolades. He teaches out of pure, infectious love of learning. As a colleague, Max is generous and caring as he is brilliant. Whether he was welcoming new staff, advocating for the humanities, or contributing to the ABC program at Wilton, he has always put others first. We will deeply miss his quick humor, his grace, and his uncanny ability to ask, keep thinking questions that follow you down the hallway. Max, you leave behind a massive void and a legacy that will echo through the halls of our high school for years to come. As you head off into this next chapter, we wish you a retirement filled with grand travels, deep questions, and absolutely no grading. Max will now have time with his wife and children, WH graduates David and Julia, and he will be spending time in Maine, also doing some fishing, and immersing himself in studying Italian language at Middlebury College and subsequently in Italy. Max, you leave a remarkable legacy, and in your honor, we have the book Son of Nobody, a novel. This is from the author of Life of Pi and a winner of the Booker Prize by Jan Martel, our very own Max Gabrielson.
They left you alone.
And then there was one. Trish Rinaldi. Trish Rinaldi is, without a doubt, one of the most celebrated and impactful educators in the history of Wilton High School. Over an illustrious career spanning more than 25 years, Trish has demonstrated a depth of knowledge and education in biochemistry that is truly unrivaled, earning her the deepest respect of her colleagues here at Wilton High School, across our demographic reference group, throughout the state and nationwide. And that's all true, by the way, nationwide. Her accolades speak volumes. She was nominated for the Connecticut Technology Council's 2023 Women of Innovation and Academic Leadership. She has been a driving force in the Science Coaches Program sponsored by the ACS and the AACT. And she is an active member of the New England Association of Chemistry Teachers, even facilitating and ensuring that we hosted the annual meeting right here at Wilton High School for many years. Trish is ever the leader. But beyond her absolute mastery of chemistry at every level, Trish is the vibrant, beating heart of our hallways. Quick with a warm smile and an encouraging pat on the back, her legacy is defined not just by the profound impact she's had on her students, but by how she has lifted up our entire faculty. Whenever challenges arise, Trish is the one to steady the ship with her trademark phrase, "We got this."
Yes.
And the truth is, Trish always does. She inspires everyone around her through a rare combination of brilliant expertise, unwavering confidence, and pure grit. Her sharp mind, undeniable charm, warmth, and deep empathy are unparalleled, and her absence will leave a massive void in our school community. Now, Trish is ready for this next great chapter in her life. We know it will be highlighted by cherished time with David and Catherine, as well as our friend, and I'm hearing soon to be fellow retiree, Damien. Damien used to teach here, one of our wrestling coaches. He's amazing young man and educator. We love Damien too. Thank you, Damien, for coming. As she trades the chemistry lab for the paddle courts, we wish her endless joy, laughter, and well-deserved relaxation. Trish, you'll be deeply missed, but your legacy at Wilton High School is permanent, and we thank you for everything. Trish Rinaldi. Did you choose it? So for Trish, we have New York Times bestseller, Lessons in Chemistry by Vonnie Garmos, and she loves this book.
I do.
There's your Wilton star.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
So I have the pleasure of introducing our next two retirees. Before I do that, Trish, I have a confession for the group. I have failed Trish Rinaldi. Yeah. You know what I'm going to say, right?
Yes, I do.
So Trish, as Bob noted, as much as Trish cares about her students, she cares equally about her staff. And there was a moment here a couple of years ago, we're having a tough time, like things were kind of heavy. And I ran into Trish in the hallway and she says in her Trish way, "Kevin, you know what we need for everybody? A margarita truck." And I kind of panicked in that moment. I didn't know what to do, so I was like, "Yeah, I'm on it." And in fairness, that was a hollow commitment on my part. So we'll just have to agree to meet outside of school grounds. So I'm sorry I let you down.
It's okay. We'll agree to meet.
Done.
Okay, we both live in the town. We're okay.
We do. And on the paddle court. Dolores is back there someplace. I'm going to ask Dolores just to come forward. Dolores, come join us here at the table if you don't mind. So I have the pleasure tonight to offer a few words about Dolores and celebrate the conclusion of her career here. And I've been thinking about that quite a lot. So I have some prepared remarks, but it's important to know as I was just thinking about your impeccable professionalism. Dolores, we've worked together now 12 years, and not once, Dolores has never disappointed, not one time. And I honestly, from my seat, I can't think of a higher compliment to offer. You are just professional, capital P on it, and I've got a few more things to offer, but that's, kind of the idea that's in my head at the moment. So tonight, we offer a bittersweet farewell to Dolores Tufariello, our intrepid Director of Continuing Education. Wilton has benefited from Dolores's leadership over the last 20 years. During her long tenure, she's grown and expanded Wilton Continuing Education to be one of the finest comprehensive community education enrichment programs in the state. Her motto, learn, explore, enrich, inspire, has been the guiding spirit that's enabled the creation of a robust, ever-changing, ever-adapting program that's highly customized to the needs and interests of the Wilton community. We see evidence of this through the seasonal offerings and annually in one of my favorite moments when tonight she's going to come before the board and present her end-of-year report and her top 5. And so I went back to the year I started, 2014-15, because I was curious to know what the top 5 was then. I'll just share with the group. It's funny. And the number 1 was wine in your waistline. The second was Indian folk and Bollywood dance. The third, a staple in the top 5 for many years, tennis. The fourth was craft beer instruction. And then the fifth was Italian. And so we've had this rolling top 5 for, I think, probably all the years that you've served. Yes. And all you need to do is go back and look over, and you'll see just how our programs have responded to the needs and interests in this community as they've emerged and changed. As a leader, Dolores has demonstrated a clear vision and strong mission to serve. She served admirably. From student enrichment activities to summer camps to childcare to adult education and the conservatory, all of these programs have grown and flourished under your leadership, Dolores. When confronted with a challenge, whatever it may be, I'll give you a couple. The tennis instructor didn't show up. We needed to provide online adult ed during COVID. The greenhouse is underutilized. The kiln is broken. The list goes on and on. Dolores always, and I mean always, leaned in with her can-do spirit and innovative mindset. There has been never a challenge from which she's shirked. Indeed, and this happened a week ago, Dolores literally rolls up her sleeves and gets her hands dirty, as she did in the garden when she was cleaning it out and planting at Middlebrook, getting ready to hand it off to the Wilton Garden Club. This kind of presence and full commitment to ensuring a high quality experience for others, I think, is what really distinguishes your leadership. As a leader, she's never been willing to leave things up to chance, and that includes selecting the books that will be added to our professional library in her name. So thank you for that. We're adding 2 books in honor of Dolores' service. The first is The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. As Annie Duke wrote in praise of this book, The Psychology of Money is fast-paced, engaging, and it will leave you with both the knowledge to understand why we make bad financial decisions and the tools to make better ones. Through her time as a continuing ed director, Dolores has made a study of human behavior and shaped the continuing education programs to help others become better. So I think this is a very fitting attribute to your legacy. The second is Stock Market Wizards by Jack Schwager. Can you tell she's been preparing for retirement? Fundamentally, this is an education self-improvement book focused around helping lay people better understand a complex arena. Here too, the book typifies who Dolores is as it is smart, pointed, and powerful. Dolores, I don't know that words can adequately express my and our gratitude for your incredible service over these last 2 decades. While we know you're leaving, we also know you're not saying goodbye, and we look forward to your continued presence here in the community. We also wish you the very, very best as you enter this next chapter of life. Thank you for the service, and a round of applause for our Thank you. Doctor. So our final retiree this evening is one it's taken me almost all year to get my head around and to come to accept. We have the privilege this evening of beginning to recognize an extraordinary educator, leader, colleague, and friend as Dr. Robert O'Donnell concludes an exceptional 22-year career at Wilton High School. When we think about great leaders, we often think about accomplishments, rankings, programs, achievements. Bob definitely has all of those to his credit, as you well know. Under his leadership, Wilton High School has consistently been recognized as one of the highest performing high schools in the state of Connecticut. Thousands of graduates have left our high school exceptionally well prepared for college, careers, military service, and life beyond high school. I have 2 in my house who are grateful for your service. What's always made Bob special is that he has never viewed success solely through the lens of rankings or statistics. For Bob, our students and their individual stories have always come first. He's the embodiment of the belief that before students can excel academically, they must feel known, valued, supported, and safe. Throughout his tenure, He's built a school culture rooted in relationships, compassion, and genuine caring for the young people he serves. Those who have worked alongside Bob know that one of his greatest strengths may be his steadiness. Over the past 2 decades, education has experienced no shortage of challenges and change. There have been moments of uncertainty, moments of crisis, moments that have tested schools and our school leaders in few ways that any could have imagined. Through it all, and including at 8 o'clock in my office this morning, Bob has been the calm in the storm. He's been the rock of Wilton High School. When the waters become rough, Bob provides reassurance. When difficult decisions need to be made, he approaches them thoughtfully and with integrity. When students or staff need support, he's there with compassion, wisdom, and a steady hand. His leadership, as you know, has never been out loud or self-promotional. Instead, it is characterized by humility, consistency, kindness, and that steadfast, rock-solid commitment to all the people he serves. The measure of a principal is not simply what happens during his or her tenure, but what endures because of it. Bob leaves behind a school culture that's strong, caring, academically rigorous, and deeply student-centered. He leaves behind generations of students whose lives were shaped by his leadership and countless educators who became better because they had the opportunity to work with him. On behalf of our entire community, Bob, and all of those you've positively influenced through your many years of service, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your compassion. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your friendship. I think your impact in this community is immeasurable. I think your legacy will endure in the years that come. We congratulate you on your retirement, and we wish that your next chapter be filled with health, happiness, and many sunset cruises in your convertible, and all of that precious time with those you love. The book we're dedicating in your name, Bob, is 100 Years of American Cars. In recognition of your 2 passions, education and classic cars. This book traces the history and the evolution of American-made automobiles. We know you've got a few classics in the garage already, and I'm hoping that this book might inspire your next acquisition. Thank you. So Bob, others, there's about 200 years of dedicated, passionate service to the Wilton Public Schools in this room. I'd invite any one of you or all of you to take a moment now if there's anything you want to share with the board or the rest of your colleagues. The floor is yours.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Well, I'm gonna say something. When I think of how wonderful Wilton has been to me and my family and my children, what comes to mind is just gratitude. I'm thankful to all the board, the administrations, colleagues, my chicklets, and families. It has truly been just a joy, and I just want to say thank you. And that's the word, gratitude. I'm thankful for all of you.
Thank you.
I'm not afraid to talk. Okay. We just wanted to say that was a lovely from above down to Bob. But we want to say from below down to Bob, he has always had our back.
Yes.
And we have that steady rock has always been there for us. And we all just wanted to say from the office, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Really. I'm fortunate to have a great relationship, really. Your door is always open. I appreciate it.
right, on to the mundane. To all of our retirees, you don't need to stay for this next round. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Next up is the financial report.
So the financial report was based up till the end of April. We did get the full amount that we were anticipating for the excess cost reimbursement, so that was very welcome news. We have run the final payroll for the teachers, and at this point, we're running AP checks every week so that we can close out the year. We are anticipating that we will have a small amount of money left, but it's still too early to really be able to say what exactly that's going to look like, because there's still a lot of variables that are out there. And the biggest thing for us is we don't know how much our last insurance claims are going to be until probably the middle of July. So once we have that information, then we'll be able to finalize that. But we do feel like we're in a good position right now. The other thing is we did finalize our nurses RFP, and so we're in the process of making a contract. I did speak with them today, and we're just working out some details, and we should have the contract done probably within the next week or so.
Great, so when that's all finalized, we'll share all that.
Yep, then we'll share everything, yeah.
Any questions for Lila? Thank you. I know it's a lot of work at the end of the, tying up all of this in, so we appreciate it. Thank you very much. Board chair report. I just have a few short remarks. This year, as we come to the close of the school year, we are both celebrating our triumphs and grieving our losses. Recent tragedies have struck our community, and I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the sadness that we are currently walking with. We continue to send our love, support, and deepest condolences to the families as they navigate unimaginable losses. We are blessed to live in a community filled with kindness, compassion, and support, where neighbors support each other, students lean on each other, and staff go above and beyond to care for our children and each other. I would like to thank Dr. Smith and Kim Zemo and their teams and the entire Wilton education staff and community for leading us through the last several weeks with both heart and mind. Your continued reliance on professionals and organizations with expertise in crisis response, mental health support, and suicide prevention is helping our community process, heal, and protect those most vulnerable and affected. As we continue to provide support for students and staff, we also encourage all families to remain attentive to the emotional needs of your children and to please seek help wherever your concern arises. Together, we support each other in both happiness and sadness, allowing each emotion the respect and place they deserve. We will model and honor the values at the heart of our community: compassion, kindness, and understanding. Thank you.
Great. I really appreciate that. And just for the board, when we come back together later this year, we'll come back with planning, response, appropriate events at the appropriate time. And as you're well aware, we're working through a phased approach right now. But thank you for that. I want to segue to some cheerier news. Our high school theater department was nominated for 18 Halo Awards this year, and they won 3. The Best Supporting Actor in a Play was Zach Helgeson in Shakespeare in Love. The Best Run Crew for a Play, also Shakespeare in Love. And then the Triple Threat Excellence in Flight, Ellis Nichols as Ariel in The Little Mermaid. Congratulations, Bob, to you and to the whole theater department. Several weeks ago, our high school girls sailing team competed in the MIT Sailing Pavilion and won the Harris-Schaff Silver Championship. They functioned as a self-funded club and competed against 12 other high school teams, including Staples and Greenwich. Those team members are Claudia and Sophia Traska, Rachel Phippen, Lizzie McGinnis, Olivia Murrin, and Leah DeBernardis. So congratulations to those girls on a really incredible accomplishment. That's all I have for you.
Can I just say I was at the Pops concert last night?
Yes.
And it was, I think there's the most people I've ever seen on stage there. They're saying goodbye to, I believe it's 59 seniors. So I just want to say bravo to the whole performing arts department.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. That's terrific.
Okay. Next up, we have Wilton Continuing Education End of Year Report. So we're going to get our top 5 from Dolores.
Where should we start?
Pick an empty seat.
Is one seat higher than the other?
We'll find out.
It's a learning experience.
Everybody around the table knows Emily Dowden, who has worked with Dolores for I think all the years you've been here.
Yes.
And Emily is Dolores's successor. So we wish you farewell. We also congratulate Emily and thank you for stepping into a role with some very large shoes.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, thank you. Well, hello again, and thank you for your time. Emily Dowden and I would like to present our highlights of this year at continuing education, and we will start with Emily and childcare.
So we'll start with childcare. Registration for 26-27 opened last month on May 13th, and the after-school program's filled within 5 minutes. Before School has a healthy enrollment and with limited availability. Moving on to enrichment. For young student programs, the trend has shifted a little. Enrollment in STEM programs is now surpassing enrollment in sports programs. Highlights include the expansion of STEM programs. We offered 14 new enrichment and activities, 4 STEM, 4 sports, and 2 arts programs. We continue to collaborate with teachers and staff for new programming. Highlights for summer, which begin in a little over 2 weeks. Camp Invention is back for its 12th year. That started the year you came, Kevin, to Wilton. And it's running for 2 weeks. It's at capacity with 134 students each week. It's led by Brian Ennis and his team of Wilton educators. We also have Power Up Camp in its 11th year, a STEM 3D printing, coding, and robotics camp with Tim Lai. And due to the demand, we've increased it. We started at 1 week, we went to 2 weeks, 3 weeks, now we're at 4 weeks. So every week this year for 6 consecutive weeks, we have a STEM program camp. And the Be a Good Sport camp with Sal Gimo is running also for 6 weeks. And also continuing is the Sal Gimo Leadership Program. The initiative offers junior counselors a unique opportunity to learn from the best. Really a wonderful school community leader.
For adult education, the most success we've had this year has been in Mahjong. Lori, we'll see you Monday.
Made it off the wait list tonight.
Yes, you did.
I waited my time to retire, and now I'm going to play Mahjong.
We pay attention to those wait lists. So Mahjong, pickleball, group knitting, and pottery. These classes have attracted the most participants, and they they offer a strong social component while learning something new. So the trend in adult education has really shifted. It has shifted from like a transactional style to a more of a lifestyle. Transactional styles are like come in, learn, excel, and leave. Now people live in the realm of continuing ed, and sometimes I often hear, because we have this relationship with Comstock Community Center, we're able to offer day, afternoon, and evening classes, and I hear some people say, I think I'm just going to move into the art room here. So it is really nice to hear that. Before I get into the top 5, I just would like to mention 2 highlights this year. 2 highlights that were a little out of the ordinary. One is the revitalization of the Middlebrook Greenhouse and the future involvement of the Wilton Garden Club. So we have been working with them since February and still working with them to have them take over the gardening and present maybe opportunities for more educational classes and, you know, just to expand it. They do need the space over at Comstock. They've really grown out of it. We have the space. We have this tremendous opportunity. We cleaned it up. We prepared the courtyard. It looks fabulous. We have plants growing in there. And, you know, we're just waiting for the right time to make that shift. So we have been working with them. They're really a dedicated, tremendously hardworking group of people. So that has been a real pleasure and a real learning experience. Another event that we were the mover on was on May 19th, we had Dr. David Ferrucci come in to the Wilton Library and talk about AI. He was the data scientist that brought Watson into the Jeopardy challenge and eventually won. You know, Watson won the challenge. I mean, thank God for him. He was under such heat. So he talked a little bit about the Watson challenge and then brought it right into current day. And he ended with an open dialogue with his chatbot and how he talks to his chatbot and challenges that for everybody to hear. He did make inferences from the book, Thinking Fast and Slow, and the thinking fast being the AI and the thinking slow about the process. And he was extraordinarily interesting, and it was so invigorating and such an intelligent talk. And he lives conveniently, he lives right here in Wilton. So how great is that? So anyway, those are the 2 highlights that were a little bit out of the norm. And now we get into the top 5. Okay, so Wine in the Waistline was number 1 in 2015. And by the way, Kevin, we had 26 participants in that class.
Yeah, we looked it up.
We looked it up.
Is that right?
Yes, that's big. Okay, so the number 5, I go usually from the 5 and up. So number 5 was the pasta making class. We had a great enrollment in that.
Twice.
Yes, twice we offered that.
Classes.
Pottery, number 4. Number 3 is group knitting. The knitters are fabulous. Pickleball, as you know, it's been top. Now it's fallen to number 2. And Mahjong has been hotter than ever. We hired a new instructor. In fact, Christine Marinaccio's daughter is now teaching for us. Yes. So those are the top 5 this year.
Dolores, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions?
Any questions for Dolores?
Okay, I just would like to say, though, I would like to thank you, Kevin Smith. Thank you for your trust. Thank you to the Board of Education for your support. I would like to thank you during those COVID years for preserving our department. And then we became viable very soon after COVID, after those years. I would like to say also that I have been given unbelievable, extraordinary opportunities here to serve this district and to serve this community. And our success has been the result of many, the result of Emily and the Wilton Continuing Education Department. It has been involved the teachers, the vendors, the contractors, all who have brought their talent and intellect to keep our programs vibrant. I thank the families and I thank the participants, because without all of you, we could not be successful. And I really leave with great pride in what we have built together, and I believe in the future of Wilton Continuing Education. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, we have an update on the curriculum review, ELA, and digital learning.
Yes, and PE health.
Mm-hmm.
And PE health.
Oh, and PE. Oh, yes.
You want Bill to go first?
Yeah, could I ask my friends to come on up?
Sure.
So if Kelly, Heather, and Karen, could you come up to the table? Bill is online today. He had another commitment. So just to frame this, what we're going to share with you tonight is some updates around curriculum reviews and plans for curriculum revisions. And again, I'm going to say this again, it was PE health, digital learning, and we're going to give you an update on ELA as well. Lucille or Bill, can you put the presentation up?
I think Bill was gonna share his screen.
Yeah, I'll share my screen if that's okay. Give me 1 second.
So what's going to come up hopefully soon is an overview of the curriculum review process. We have a very long, okay, that's not the one I wanted.
Okay. Lucille, do you want to go first and I'll share after?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, this isn't the one I wanted either. Okay, so just to make this easier.
That's what I had said.
So I don't know if you have this, but it's an overview of the curriculum review process. What we're going to do today is for PE health and digital learning, we're going to be talking about the first few steps of this long process. So component A, which is the planning piece, and the first 2 bullets under articulating and developing. That's what we do when we review a curriculum area K to 12 about every 5 to 6 years. For ELA, we're going to be living more down in the implementing and evaluating because that curriculum was reviewed 2 years ago, and we're here to provide you an update. ELA, there were many recommendations that came out of that curriculum review, and so we've been working away at it for quite a while, and I think it's time to give you an update. Make sense? Okay. And I want to thank the board members who volunteered their time to be on these curriculum review committees. So we will start with digital learning. So Bill, if you could.
Absolutely. Can you guys see everything? Great. All right, well, anyway, I'm sorry I couldn't be here tonight. I feel like a Grateful Dead fan. I'm kind of going from award ceremony to award ceremony. We had one at my son's school. He's a rising 9th grader now. It's kind of hard to say, and he won a band award. So that was pretty neat, and it was obviously really great to see all the awards and recognitions tonight too. So a little bit of a tough act to follow. I'll keep it brief, but I'll tell you a little bit about where we are with digital learning curriculum review. So first off, we've done our 3 committee meetings that were scheduled for this year. Nicola volunteered her time to be part of that. It included teachers, students, parents, admins, and obviously board member. We started the year planning out and distributing a needs assessment survey, and we got some really good data from that, which I'll talk a little bit about in a moment. And another big part of this process is planning for the work that we need to do this summer based on the recommendations that we got from the needs assessment surveys. So the 3 main constituencies that we talked to were the LSC staff, parents, and students. And what we found from the needs assessment surveys were the LSC staff were looking for some better and improved flexibility with their scheduling, some increased collaboration time, both together and with teachers in their schools, and especially at the secondary level, implementing some sort of attendance system so we can know who's coming and going from the library, both just to manage it better and also to understand who we're serving, what times of day, and how to meet their needs better. Parents were looking for increased AI literacy, but also digital well-being, including finding and promoting a balance of screen time and online safety and privacy. And after I distributed the needs assessment survey, I got really nice emails from parents saying, wow, we didn't realize you did so many great things in the LLC. So that was nice to hear, but it also reminded me that we need some more better communication about what's going on in each school in our LLC. Students wrote back to the survey saying that they would like a little bit less redundancy in digital literacy and AI. One of the efforts that I'm making is to participate in the physical education and wellness committee as well, so we can work together this summer and find some cross currents between some of the things that they talk about in terms of digital well-being and wellness and some of the things that we talk about, so that we can target things that fit our disciplines the best and so that we reduce those redundancies for students. We also were recommended by students to rethink our LLC spaces a little bit more, to make them add some flexibility, to upgrade some of the places for students to work. We talked to the high school, their student council, and they were requesting some more quiet places to study and to collaborate, so we're working on that as well. And universally, students wrote back to the survey saying that they love the LMSs and the library programs, and they basically just said keep being awesome. So I have to hand it to my staff for being so great and doing such a good job this year and in the past as well. So based on what we learned from those surveys and some of the things that we've been studying as well, we have a few recommended curriculum updates that we'll be working on. So one, again, is to increase how we're approaching AI literacy. Right now, we are talking about it in our classes throughout the schools, but we are doing it somewhat ad hoc. So this summer, we'll be working on a real scope and sequence to help students learn healthy and productive ways to improve their academic growth using AI. Likewise, with digital citizenship, we'll continue to improve our curriculum around that. One thing that we were talking about, and I had shared with you, I think the night that I presented with Lori Ellis about the Raising Humans in a Digital Workbook, was that there's a difference between a digital consumer and a digital creator. So we want to help encourage students to become more digital creators rather than digital consumers. We have some really neat things that we're doing right now. You heard Ken present about his podcasting class, which I think is a great example of that, and there's many more things we're working on too. Again, we'll be working on technology balance throughout our curriculum, and we're not going to neglect the bread and butter of the LSC, which is, of course, library and inquiry skills. We're working on revising and aligning with the newest edition of the AASL standards and crosswalking that with the ISTE standards, which are more tech-based as well. And of course, we'll be working on literary appreciation too. One big thing that we're doing is we're trying to come up with our own version of Wilton Reads. We're kind of dubbing it Wilton Public Schools Reads, and I'll have a lot more information for that about that for you soon. But we'll be rolling that out in the fall too, so we're really excited about that. As far as some of our professional learning needs, I just listed a few here. Our LLC staff members have attended lots of great stuff for the past couple of years that I've been here, but some of the things that we have targeted is library conferences, including Castle and CLC, LLC visits to schools like Simsbury and Farmington, where we've been recommended to go and see their libraries because we're rethinking our spaces as well. For the last few years, our LLC staff and tech ILs have attended different tech conferences. We want to continue doing that. We also are interested in revitalizing our use of VR in the libraries. In fact, we just got a grant to get 2 sets of class VR headsets at Cider Mill. So we want to plan a visit to the Central Connecticut State University XR lab to learn a little bit more about how that works and how we can model our practices after theirs. Also, with the new contract rolling out for teachers, they now have opportunities for micro-credentials to improve their skills, and we want to try to encourage that too, and we have a few options for them there as well. As far as timeline for unit revisions, there's a lot here. It looks really ambitious, but a lot of this stuff is going on already. And just to talk you through it very quickly, we started off conducting our committee meetings this year. We administered our needs assessment surveys and compiled the recommendations for you. This summer, we'll begin our initial curriculum work, and we'll focus mainly on AI literacy, digital citizenship, that idea of being an ethical innovator or digital creator, finding technology balance, and that should say keyboarding, so I'm sorry about that. Also, we'll include an AI literacy scope and sequence in our work and roll that out as well. For the school year coming up, we'll work on implementing those new units and lessons, and we'll use some additional curriculum days to finish planning and refining. Next summer, we'll hope to review the new units and lessons, adjusting as needed, and we'll continue working on our curriculum work And I think at that point, we'll be comfortable, assuming there's no great tech revolutions between now and then that we need to worry about. We'll continue to work on our library skills and inquiry and literary appreciation more. So we'll focus a little bit more on that aspect of our curriculum, which again is so strong and it doesn't change as much or as frequently. As far as our time after that, we'll continue to go through the curriculum review process that's Chuck outlined for you just a little while ago. I'd like to discuss just a few potential expenses. These are roughly categorized by need from probably most pressing to least pressing, but I think they're all important. And so most of them came directly from the recommendations, but we added a few other things too that we'd like you to know about. So first, just to enable that ability to get, especially in the elementary schools, more transdisciplinary curriculum work, collaboration, and improvements of library management, we want to try to revise some of our staffing and scheduling schemes to allow our LMSs to push into classes and to work on those things. We may need to prioritize some additional curriculum days as needed, especially to keep up with the pace of everything that's going on, technologically speaking, and to work on our literacy skills that we work with students as well. We'll need some professional learning time for the LMSs and the tech ILs as we use them to kind of help other staff in the train-the-trainer model. So we want to shelter some time for them to be able to do that. One thing we want to work on next year is to have AI training for staff throughout the year. So in order for my staff to be able to do that effectively, I have to get them trained up a little bit more too. We'll also, just as far as like the actual physical space of the libraries, we're working on upgrading bookshelves. We have some upgrades happening in Miller School and at Middlebrook as we speak, working on getting some new types of shelves and also adding casters to existing shelves to make the spaces more flexible. We also want to update the furniture in the LLCs overall, replacing some worn pieces and honoring those student requests. That would especially be at the high school where students tend to use it more as a campus center than in the other schools. And obviously, we want to try to protect our book budgets. Since I've been here the last few years, and basically since the last 5 years or so, the book budget's been flat funded. And our average collection age is 14.75 years. And Cider Mill, who has kind of suffered a little bit more of the brunt than the other schools, their average collection age is 17 years. So we'd like to be able to try to improve some of the library collections there as well. I have included some resources for you to look at when you get a chance. Just some information about the digital learning program philosophy, which is something that we worked on as a committee too. That document is just about ready to be adopted, but we have a few more finishing touches to put on it. There's the ASL and ISD standards I mentioned as well. Next up are a few examples of just some of the updated lessons materials that we want to try to work on this summer. Again, these are rough draft examples of things that might serve our use in terms of getting these ideas out to students. So this is just a brief AI literacy scope and sequence idea. This would probably be a little bit more internal. I put them in a different order than I expected, sorry. Let me flip to the next one. I'm getting a lot of questions right now about digital wellness and screen time. I want to spend the summer writing a white paper that could be distributed amongst stakeholders throughout the district regarding that in terms of what we're doing with screen time, how we're intentionally using it for instruction, what are the main apps and technologies that we use. But this would be a little bit maybe something that students could use either in a combination of our classes, but maybe even also in their phys ed and wellness classes too. You can tell it's AI generated. It's going to require a lot more work to get ready for actual public display. But I think it helps to summarize some of the thinking that we as an LLC staff want to try to encourage students, which is level 1 being personal academic growth, the base of the pyramid, ways to use AI and other different digital technologies. Level 2 being communication and collaboration, and then the top being more entertainment based. I'll flip back to the AI literacy scope and sequence. Again, sorry those slides snuck out of order for me, but this is a basic outline of what we're thinking in terms of just introducing things, different things in terms of algorithms and coding in 2nd grade, K through 2 rather, moving on to the higher grades of having students think about design challenges and creative problem solving. And again, for the younger kids, that doesn't even necessarily need to be on a screen, let alone have them interacting with AI, but just to get them thinking about computers, systems, and how they work. And then starting in 5th grade, 6th grade, start to teach them a little bit more about how AI functions, what it is, what it can do, what it can't do, what it should do, what it shouldn't do, and how they can interact with it to help improve their learning and their personal growth as well. And then by 9th grade, really start to dig in, especially in our flight class, which we're looking to revise as well, and help kids learn more about advanced prompt engineering and how they can manipulate AI to help them study and learn better rather than potentially be manipulated by AI or maybe think it's only for shortcuts. And then the last thing I'll talk about very briefly is that we've been working with Karen and her team to think a little bit more about how keyboarding is taught in the district. So some of the work that we've decided upon so far, and we have a draft scope and sequence for all this already written up by the Cider Mill team primarily, is in the earlier grades, worked on handwriting and printing in cursive, introducing some keyboard and mouse skills through some of our different software platforms, but really saving that more for the work with the Cider Mill folks. So we have a curriculum that's really taking shape, and it's looking really good as far as the scope and sequence and some of the lesson plans, teaching students the proper way to type, the best ergonomics to use, and helping them improve their speed and their words per minute as well, so that they'll have a fluency with it. And then moving on from there, talking about improving their practice in middle school. Right now, they do have some keyboarding practice in the LC classes, and world language helps them as well. But then moving on from there, it would be, practice and then improving and getting ready to be digitally fluent for high school. So that's just essentially everything I have to share. Does anyone have any questions?
I guess my one kind of question is we seem to be kind of adding, like, there's digital literacy, digital citizenship, and now we're talking about like AI, so like adding another kind of bucket to it. And I just want to make sure that we're kind of seeing like the connection through everything. It's just kind of what I'm trying to, wrap my head around a little bit, especially because, to some extent, like your traditional kind of like inquiry skills are connected to all those three kind of spaces and how they, interact with each other. And I don't think kids see them siloed. So I'm just, wondering to some extent if like the models that we've been working on for the last couple of years with AI now being fully integrated and starting to be integrated into our searching and our inquiries, if there's, different approaches.
If I'm understanding exactly what you're saying, I think what you're saying, Ruth, is to try to show kids that AI can be integrated into their learning. Is that the best way to say it?
Well, I think that it's not even just AI, but kind of like when you're talking about like research skills or inquiry, kind of like understanding the whole entire, a range of how information is being shared or presented. So, you talk about digital citizenship and you talk about those things. And so that also includes, information that you receive over social media, or how you interact with each other, or how you interact with each other online, or what's the difference, between sources or understanding. So that's just, some that kind of understanding from, just because it's on YouTube doesn't mean that it's true, kind of like how you progress through that as things become more sophisticated and not so siloed. And that's
absolutely, yeah. I mean, you've heard me talk about AI all year, over and over again. So I apologize to bring it up so much more. I think it maybe feels siloed the way I was talking about it because it is something we're trying to be more intentional about and to improve our approach. But as far if you were to go into the classes and see how it's taught, I think it would feel less siloed, especially since we already have a really strong curriculum, both through Common Sense Media and Cyber Civics and some of the other tools that we use. And again, I remember Lori talked a lot about that when she presented with me to you. I think that it's more of an integration into what we're already doing, rather than here's our AI unit, here's our inquiry unit, here's our digital wellness unit. I think what you would see is that it would be a lot more integrated.
And I don't know if this would help, but I do think the way we've structured things is the difference between an acquisition phase versus an application phase. So in many of the LLC classes, some of our technology classes, we do provide standalone lessons where kids kind of acquire the skills that they need.
Right.
And then we try to move that then into application into the content areas. And that's why it's so important that the LLCs and the Tech ILs have time to collaborate with the actual teachers so that kids can see how the things that they've acquired, those skills that they've acquired, can actually be applied in a more meaningful and authentic context. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. And that's just kind of, just not seeing it as something like an afterthought that's separate, that, especially I even see, the difference between how my 9-year-old is approaching things versus how my 14-year-old did when she was 9. So that's just as everything's moving faster than, adults can keep up with to some extent. So like, what are like those thorough-throughs that kind of maintain? Yeah.
Absolutely. The LLC, to Chuck's point, is where they're going to get that assured experience, that basic understanding, and I'm really hoping that'll grow throughout the rest of the curriculum and all the different classes that they take.
And it's always hard to find the time for the teachers to collaborate, right? So that they can take the things, kids need almost rote learning to acquire the skills in standalone lessons. But then they need support in actually applying it in a more meaningful way.
Right.
And so we're struggling in some of our schools to find the time where that collaboration can occur.
Yeah. Which is always the parameter of time.
Yes.
Yes, always.
Always. Any other questions I can help with?
Anything else for Bill?
You all maybe want to share our thinking about screen time?
Yeah, as I mentioned, we're thinking about that a lot, we're talking about it a lot, and it's something I do want to work on this summer and put together in a way that we can share with these different stakeholders. As far as some of the conversations that are going on, I think you're seeing some de-screening going on, especially with the younger kids. We're trying to move away from just relying on screens for the sake of screens or convenience and trying to find out what's best for our youngest learners. So we're spending more time and being more intentional about deciding when to use screens. So there might be an aspect of a lesson that might have just been, hey, do some IXL practice, but now you could see it as a station within a larger lesson rather than just being the main focus of the lesson. So there might be, students working at a station with manipulatives, students working in a small group with the teacher, students working on IXL, and then rotating through. So we're rethinking a lot of those types of things throughout, and again, especially for the youngest learners. So I'm hoping that through our curriculum review, we can help lead that conversation for the whole district.
I know that's a topic of
and I think
a lot of discussion lately.
And I think that distinction between, intentional versus convenience is really important. I think that's an important discussion to have in the classroom. I think it's also an important discussion for everybody to have in their house, or even to reflect on ourselves.
Absolutely. We're looking for a balance, and some tasks are best done analog, and some learning tasks are best done digital, and we're kind of rethinking where those things can live in all the curricula throughout the district, but especially again we're thinking about it now as well.
I think for years we spent a lot of money buying tech. And so we've sent the message to teachers, we expect you to use it. And I think we're evolving to the point now where we're trying to be more intentional and making sure that we're using it when it's needed the most and not just to use it because it's there and available.
There's also interesting, things to be thought about in terms of analog
approaches and how that also affects like brain movement and
Yes, absolutely.
and interaction, and studies been done with MRIs and like what activates your brain versus what you're physically doing at the same time, whether you're writing or whether you're keyboarding or other things.
Standing at a whiteboard.
Right, or standing up, or
collaborating with your peers.
So, no, I think that's just because you can doesn't always mean you should.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anything else for Bill? All right, thank you, Bill. Can I ask who's going to put up the PE health presentation?
I think it was titled Board of Education, and
We combined it into one, but
we combined
what happened to that?
Okay.
So, Bill, I'm not sure if Lucille sent you something that you could share?
She did, but I'm not sure if me remotely clicking through slides is the best way to do it, but if that's what you want me to do, I will do it.
Go for it.
I just have to, I'm not sharing my screen at the moment, are you? Am I?
No.
Let me just get my email. All right. So someone will just have to prompt me when to change the slide, that's all.
no problem.
My email's a little slow at the moment, but I will call it. I just want to give them a little bit of an introduction, and I'll share my screen as soon as.
Okay, well, let me introduce our two friends here today. This is Kelly Holtz, who is the instructional leader for PE Health at the high school, and Heather Schlitz, who is our K-8 instructional leader for PE. You want to start talking?
Yeah, sure. So it was a good segue. So the analog things and standing up at the whiteboard and collaborating, working together, or being in PE class, right? So the process was already described and we went through the same thing with collecting data from surveys and looking at different standards and trying to figure out where we wanted to start and what the needs were for all stakeholders. And we have a plan based on all of that, like Bill was sharing. What he's probably looking for is a review of the
There we go.
Yeah, the standards that they're based on. So you want to start with the PE?
So from the work that we did as a committee, we have basically learned that we're going to move from a task-oriented framework to a more whole child approach and increase physical and health literacy. And you could change to the next slide. We're going to do that based on the core curriculum. So we're using 3 curriculums that we're going to crosswalk over the summer with our summer writing team. So first is our healthy and balanced living. That's our state standards here in Connecticut for PE and health. Then we're using our social emotional standards like CASEL, and then our very own Wilson's Vision of the Learner. So next slide, please. I know Jory wanted me to read line by line, all 26 slides. But I'm gonna ask, Bill, can you go down, I think about a dozen slides? That felt good, didn't it? Yeah.
So really what we had put on there was where we were and where we wanted to move to. So a lot of this is weaved into our lessons right now, and we're working on formalizing that to the templates and things for school.
Yeah. Bill, a few more, please. Couple more. There we go. Oh, yeah, right there. Perfect. So first year, we're really just kind of unpacking what we're currently doing, and then we're going to find ways to align all of those 3 standards to what we're doing with some minor changes in lesson delivery. The big lift, K-5, is trying to integrate health lessons into phys ed so that we can kind of maximize our learning opportunities and start hitting some of those benchmarks that we haven't had because we haven't had a dedicated like health class at the elementary level. So this is kind of the direction that the industry is moving in a very timely way. We did a professional learning already this fall where we started to integrate all of the health concepts from the new national standards into our phys ed lessons. So staff already have a bit of a understanding of it and they kind of see it coming. Year 2 is more about integrating more concepts. We use a lot of DBT at the middle school level. We're starting to find language to bring that into the elementary school level, and that really phys ed is the place where DBT comes to life. So it's kind of very timely with everyone's transitions in their curriculums that this is all aligning. Year 3, we're hoping to make impact, do more of a capstone project, find ways to connect to the community, connect to the families. For instance, at the elementary school level, we would like to target ways for not only students to understand the importance of fitness and have some strategies on how to implement it, but how to take them home and do them as a family. And then at the middle school level, it's more like basically developing your own personal fitness plan based on the needs of the individual learner and not just stats and rankings, and really find a holistic approach behind that. So that would be our 3-year strategic focus. The professional learning, as I said, we did that training, which was a great foundation for us. We're going to continue to do trainings like that. Oh, not yet, Bill. We're going to continue to do trainings like that. We have a lot of in-house resources. So the great benefit here is it is a zero-cost plan. A lot of our vision is coming from, or a lot of the money is coming from our in-house budgets. And we're going to lean on special services and get some training from DBT and not have to really go outside the district a whole lot. And like I said, $0, so we're looking forward to that. And then the next slide, basically I'm gonna pass it off to Kelly, and it's what's happening at the high school.
Well, this is health.
Okay, you want him to keep going?
I can do health and then PE, sure.
Okay.
Okay, so for health education, okay, so basically at the high school, I'm gonna talk about phys ed first because you said phys ed.
Yeah.
Bill, if you can find the slides, great. If not, that's fine too. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So just to back up a little bit, what we learned from all the surveys were that kids actually do like physical education, even though there's some hemming and hawing and I have to wear sneakers and I don't want to go and I don't want to get sweaty and I want to do this thing. So I want to put out there first that when they honestly responded, and even the parents, we were actually pleasantly surprised from the survey. So we're really working toward, they said they were really interested in personal fitness, really learning more about how to take care of their bodies. We do have big classes, we have a lot of them. To try to personalize and individualize for every student is tricky, and we're doing it the best that we can. So the main goals for phys ed at the high school, I would say, is that we're really trying to, we're working on kind of like a rebranding, if you will. So instead of it like PE 9, PE 10, PE 11, PE 12, or we're in the volleyball unit or in the basketball unit, we really want the kids to feel that there is a difference in a progression and see that. And we think just by offering more information in terms of what the title is, will help with that. So for example, they take math every year, but it's called something different, right? So we've already have a focus for the vision of the learner in each grade level for PE and health. So that's a positive. And again, going from calling maybe a basketball, volleyball unit, the unit title is something more like recognizing important roles in team environments. Something like a golf, wiffle ball, mat ball is recreation through the lifespan. Something like dance and movement is finding the beat. And then pickleball, tennis, badminton, for example, is moving joyfully with net games. So we want them to know and understand that they're doing different things every year and that there is a progression. So a lot of it is focused on that. In terms of what we're going to be working on for the curriculum development, we're going to focus on 10th grade PE first because the students have that for a full half semester. That's where our fitness testing takes place mostly. We already have great numbers in for our fitness testing, by the way. The way that we've integrated it into
participation too.
daily fitness, lots of participation.
Numbers.
I thought it was a sit and reach.
It was flexible, yeah.
Yes, we pulled each other through the hallways just to be flexible, like during that. But that we really had some success with that, integrating it into every day for our fitness, and then so that news Matthew will share at some point. So that's our focus. We're going to start with the 10th grade. Most of it will be covered with our regular budgets, which is probably a positive. We are going to look at professional learning for just to make sure that we're in line with what districts around us are doing and what our standards are saying are the best. So everything is really skill-based. So we're moving for that for PE. So the formatting of our lessons as well is what we're working on too for the summer. So I can talk about, you want to do health, your health now?
So health really was just dedicated to Middlebrook. That's the only standalone health. At Cider Mill, we have 3 standalone health lessons. Unfortunately, we're going to need to get creative on how to still deliver that, but not have that standalone time. So that's what I was referencing before about finding health and PE activities that kind of hit both marks. And in terms of any revision at Middlebrook, it's going to be the same as the phys ed outline that I gave you. So align, integrate, impact, and that's going to be our general focus.
And for the high school, a major goal of ours is to, again, show the scope and sequence, the progression through the grade levels, because sometimes the students think, oh, we have health again. Health, we had it last year. You tell us don't do this and don't do that, which is untrue. We don't tell them not to do anything, just to think about their decision making. So again, with looking at the differences between 9, 10, 11, and 12. Health, 10th grade, they have it for a full half a semester. 9th, 11th, and 12th grade, they have it, we call it Health Seminar. It's a standalone from their PE class for that time. And we're looking at sort of renaming and really focusing on the skills that they're learning. So it's more, instead of, for example, even like in alcohol, nicotine, other drugs, it's decision making. Things like fitness, wellness, nutrition. It would be the skill that they're learning, which might be goal setting. So we want them to understand more the skills that they're learning. And while the content is very important, we don't want it to seem like it's repetitive, and we want to help them understand what the difference is. And pre and post is going to be helpful for that. We love challenging them at the beginning of a class and saying, okay, what did you learn from last year? Here's all these questions. And if they really can't articulate it, we kind of call them on it and teachable moment sort of way and work from there. So really meeting them where they're at. There's a lot of collaboration. Sorry, Bill, we've moved away from being on screens a lot in our classes. We're really utilizing the whiteboards and getting kids up and moving, talking with each other. And they really do like working with their hands with a lot of the projects. So we're looking at getting more supplies for them to build things to represent their learning and health education. So that's, yeah. That's it.
And our staff is very highly motivated to get in and get writing and get trained on the format, have some tangible curriculum to look at, especially for new staff coming in. It's always helpful to kind of give them something to work off of. We also want to just thank you for your commitment to seeing us grow. It is a valuable subjects. Physical and health literacy are very, very important, and they also help booster everything else that we're doing here in this district. So thank you very much for supporting it.
Any questions?
Any questions?
I have a few, but if anyone wants to go first.
Nope, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Just curious, do all our kids in the high school get CPR and Heimlich training?
So that's in the 12th grade right now.
Okay.
So they are, they take the regular first aid. I'm a American Red Cross trainer, so they get the regular adult CPR AED course, and they get certified in that, which includes the
Heimlich
Heimlich
Yeah,
maneuver,
and that's in,
conscious choking.
and that's in 12th grade.
That's in 12th grade. So they have lessons. And they have safety lessons in 9th and 10th grade. It's not the formal certification though.
But there are safety like
Yes.
protocol, safety.
Yeah, so in 11th grade, I'll go backwards. So they're certified in 12th grade. In 11th grade, it's there's a little bit of training on Narcan and how do you check for consciousness and things like that, because the 11th grade curriculum is focused on decision making around substances mostly. 10th grade, it's safety and practice. So they do safety at home, safety on bikes, safety in cars, because they're starting to like learn the driving, the permits and things like that. So they learn about calling 911, checking the scene for there. And the 9th grade is, I'm blanking on exactly where, but they do talk about first aid and basic CPR and use the mannequins. They just don't get certified officially till 12.
I just, there's just new recommendations. Anybody who, has a child over the age of 12 in their house should think about, having Narcan in their house and,
Sure.
The availability of life-saving measures. And I just wonder sometimes if those are things that should be kind of like that safety group of things should be like together and younger, like, to know what to do in those situations. That I'm not so sure if those situations are exclusive to an 11th grader versus a 9th grader or some, along those lines.
Yeah.
So it's just
So the
something that
recommendation is to have hours in each grade level.
Right.
The way that it's, so for example, our 10th grade, they have full 8 lessons on every single substance, what happens, how the brain is working, things like that. 9th, 11, and 12 is a little bit shorter just because they're in there for about 12 to 15 classes. So while it's covered, it's less in depth than 10th grade and or 12th where they're getting the hands-on. It isn't every year though, and we hope that our college seniors are adding Narcan to their luggage as they go off to college too. That's kind of what we're telling them too. That should just
just in case. Because everything is getting pushed down, younger and younger, younger and younger. You see trends changing that, there's, older people are not using alcohol as much as they used to, but there's other things that are coming up and just,
So Heather, can you describe what you do?
Yeah, so at the middle school level, we have about 12 health lessons at best. Sometimes we get a little bit more. So it's, I'm sorry.
Per year.
Correct, because it's a quarterly class, so we try to, put everything in there. So you get a little sprinkle of this and that. Some creative ideas I've thought of are ways to partner up with the Wilton Youth Council and try to, get the word out in the community to help supplement the, 1 or 2 lessons that they get on the subject.
No, it's because you have like a captive audience to some extent, but how captive are how captive are they to some extent?
Sure.
And then I was just, for some of the younger grades, I was just thinking kind of like this connection between kind of like anxiety and stress and exercise and kind of like how those two things can, work together, and that it's not necessarily just about like playing a game or, playing, and so just as we integrate some of these wellness, into our tier 1 classrooms and kind of having kids think about like that there's a physical relief for a physical element to have managing some type of, how they go about their cognitive and mental load throughout the day as well.
Absolutely, yeah. That's like the movement that's happening is to integrate the health concepts. So for example, when we talk about anxiety, maybe around fitness testing, usually that comes up as a topic. Although, every time I said we're doing 30 seconds of stretching, man, but our flexibility scores have definitely increased. We talk about like the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. We talk about risk-taking, we talk about breath work, and now when we put that into lessons at the lower level, obviously it's not going to be as scientific. It may be something more like knowing your heartbeat and when do you feel your heart race faster, and just kind of putting that hand on your chest at the beginning of class, during the activity, at the end of class, drawing those connections and in broad stroke sort of ways, and then getting specific the older they get. If that makes sense.
No,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, anything It looks like we're playing games.
No, I didn't mean to like, I'm
No.
thinking like from a kid's perspective.
Yeah, well, we want them to think they're just playing games, and then we maybe sneak learning in there. But
We
there's
call it
always
sneaky fitness.
There's always yes, this is what we're doing. This is what we're looking
Hiding the
for.
carrots
How do
and
you
macaroni
feel?
and
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I guess my final question is, has there been a discussion about credit hours at the high school?
Not through the curriculum review
Not through
process.
this, okay.
I think that's a policy decision. We can certainly have the discussion, but we didn't discuss it during the curriculum review.
Yes, okay.
No, I mean, we were waiting for impending legislation that never went through.
Okay.
So it wasn't it's kind of hard to have a discussion when you don't know what the requirements are going to be.
It's on our radar. We're, advocating for to be connected with other districts so that we can all understand what kind of frequency and duration each other has and stay in that same ballpark, still hit our standards, still hit our benchmarks, still provide the students with what they need to be healthy and physically literate adults. So in the meantime, we're in a holding pattern.
Yeah, I think, here's where I would weigh in on this, regardless of what happens with state legislation. We've articulated a set of values that we hold with health and PE instruction through our curriculum. And so I would push back a little bit on that and say there's some marriage there. While certainly there can be an imposed policy decision around FTE and credit requirement, I think it should actually come from the ground up. What do we value and how well are those values being executed through the curriculum that we've articulated? And then what are the needs, personnel and otherwise, that we have to have in place in order to just successfully achieve our curriculum goals.
I guess my only point was it's better to have that conversation when we know what the requirements are. And I absolutely agree with you that it's going to be a values conversation for the whole community.
Yeah.
Okay, we ready for Karen?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys don't have to stay. It's been a long night. Thank you guys for being so tenacious and hanging with us. We started our conversations around this transition in 2021, and I'm very proud to say tonight that we are closing out the first year of implementation in kindergarten through fifth grade, which is 1 year ahead of schedule. Fifth grade, we were able to onboard alongside fourth grade thanks to the partner teaching model. Our K-5 implementation of EL education is rooted in 10 foundational principles. And I'm going to mention a couple of them tonight, but you'll hear others as we move forward in this journey. Today's data demonstrates that when we prioritize a culture of professional challenge, administrative support, and mutual trust, students flourish. EL's mantra is, we are crew, not passengers. And that has been just as true for the adult learners in this process as it has been for our students. Our teachers, supported by their hardworking and talented coaches, have actively steered a complex, rigorous instructional journey together, treating a new curriculum rollout not as a mandate to execute, but as a collaborative professional learning process. And I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the importance of our administrators' efforts in creating the conditions for adult and student learning alike to flourish. The EL principle, the primacy of self-discovery, states that learning happens best when individuals are given the support to overcome challenges and discover that they can achieve more than they ever thought possible. For our K-2 educators and their students, this year was about mastering structured literacy frameworks and shifting daily instructional practices. Because our primary teachers leaned into the steep learning curve, we are seeing massive foundational health across the district. Our kindergarten finished spring 2026 with a powerful 77% of students at or above the 61st percentile as measured by NWEA MAP. This includes a standout 80% proficiency in vocabulary use and functions. And our DIBELS scores are also looking superbly strong. You'll recall that DIBELS is an acronym for Dynamic Indicators of Basic Early Literacy Skills. 81% of our kindergarten students secured DIBELS composite scores at or above grade level, which is higher than we have seen. In grade 1 has reached a remarkable 88% of students at or above the 61st percentile as measured by NWEA MAP, with foundational skills exceptionally strong at 85%. Vocabulary was also an impressive 80%. On DIBELS, 91% of our first graders have achieved a composite score at or above grade level, which is phenomenal. In grade 2, we are very proud to report that 90% of our students took the 2-5 MAP assessment this spring, and 75% of them were scoring at or above the 61st percentile on that more rigorous assessment that they read to themselves. We're very excited to see how they enter 3rd grade now that they've had experience in that assessment. They won't see that cliff that we have historically seen. 87% of our 2nd graders also secured DIBELS composite scores at or above grade level. So we have lots of bright spots throughout all of these grades. We have 3 kindergarten, 5 first grade, and 2 second grade classrooms who are knocking on the door of the 85% expectation in just year 1 of implementation. This gives us an adult learning laboratory for cultivating crew, not passengers, and establishing classroom communities that grapple productively and independently. We're really excited to get into these classrooms and learn what's going well for both our instructors and our students, so that we can grow that success. Where the data highlights a need, such as a specific subset of 20 second grade students on the K2 MAP assessment, we had 10% of them, which is only 2 of them, who were at the 61st percentile or higher. When this need is highlighted, our adult learning shifts. Our teachers are using our multi-tiered systems of support to adjust instruction responsively, diagnosing, and target scaffolding in real time. At Cider Mill, in a high-performing district like Wilton, a benchmark goal of 85% or higher isn't just an aspiration, it is our standard. Our spring MAP data shows that our intermediate students are actively making the vertical climbs to secure that expectation, probably not this year, but in the very near future. In grade 3, 71% of our students are performing at or above the 61st percentile. It's really important to note that this is up from last spring's 3rd grade cohort, which was at 67%. Grade 4 experienced a phenomenal cohort milestone. So this is students in 4th grade achieving 80% of our 4th graders achieving above the 61st percentile. As 3rd graders, these same students are performing a massive 11 points higher than they did at the end of 3rd grade. So it may be taking us a little more time in the transition to secure the learning, but we are getting the job done. And in grade 5, we're sustaining achievement at 74% at or above the 61st percentile. When we look at individual classrooms at Cider Mill, we see that the 85% threshold is already being breached. In grade 4, 2 classrooms saw up to 95.2% of their students meet or exceed individual growth projections, achieving up to 208.8% of the targeted growth for their class. This is more than 2 years worth of growth for that cohort of students. To close the gap between our current 71 to 80% averages and our 85 district target, our adult learning focus is shifting. We're learning a new curriculum and a new way of doing business, and we're shifting our mental models about how we know kids best learn to read. Because the new curriculum introduces highly complex texts the natural instinct for most adults, and educators are no different, is to protect them from feeling frustrated. And sometimes in doing that, we intervene a little bit too early. So as we move forward with our upcoming professional work, we'll be focused on intentionally shifting the cognitive lift back to students, building their stamina that they need to apply these skills entirely independently, and applying scaffolds for support when the learner indicates that they're needed to be successful. As we look ahead to the official release of the Smarter Balanced Assessment results later this summer, we evaluate all high-stakes testing through a strict diagnostic lens from the coordinator and the coaching perspective. Any variance that we see this summer between high adaptive growth and fixed state proficiency levels tell us exactly where we need to focus our coaching next year and exactly what our adult learners are ready to, what's next in their implementation. We look at state data not as a final judgment on a curriculum, but as a roadmap for our adult professional learning, continuing to refine our implementation practices. And because of the clear cultural and academic dividends we are seeing in teacher collaboration and student ownership, we're rolling the EL education program up to grade 6 next year, moving alongside our 5th grade cohort. I believe everyone was at this table when I made the announcement before, but I wanted to make sure that everyone was aware that that was happening, and I couldn't remember when I was last here in the transition with new people at the table. Success breeds enthusiasm, and due to the positive instructional shifts observed across the district, our 7th grade staff has officially expressed interest in piloting the EL education framework to some degree next school year, beginning a cohesive, teacher-led, vertical on-ramp to a K-8 cohesive curriculum. EL education reminds us that schools should cultivate not just smart students, but great citizens. By focusing on the process of implementation, giving our teachers the space to collaborate, experiment, and refine their instructional delivery, we're building a sustainable system that matches our community's highest expectations. We have localized proof of concept in our classrooms right now that 80% or more of our students can reach these high benchmarks. Our work in year 2 and year 3 for 2 of our grades is to scale that internal excellence across all of our classrooms. So thank you again for having me back. Do you have any questions for me?
You referenced 61% a lot. What's the why
61% is the NWA established benchmark that we have adopted. The 50th percentile will grow students 1 year. They're with us for 1 year. So if we only grow them 50%, the gap stays the same. If we grow them less than 50%, it widens, and if we grow them more, it starts to narrow.
This presentation wasn't in our board notes. Can we get that?
I can send you my notes for sure. I didn't want to put slide after slide of numbers up because I think we lose the human story there. And I think there's so much to be proud of with our teachers and our coaches and our administrators. I can't underscore, I know I say it every time I'm here, we have been asked to shift our mental models 180 degrees, and there has been sweat and tears, no blood, but sweat and tears for sure. It has been challenging and hard, but we can't argue with our students thriving. I'll send you my notes, Nicola.
That said, if you could also include the tables and numbers, that would be helpful.
I'll make you some tables and numbers.
I would say as a visual person, it's hard for me to follow when you're
sure.
Looking at numbers. I just can't keep track of all of them.
Yep, they'll be even more impressive when you see them in a chart. You're welcome.
So, I've been along for this ride from the beginning, so I know that there's been like fits and starts and ups and downs, and it is a different philosophical approach, and I just am so heartened to see that we're adjusting in a way that both kids and staff are thriving and growing, and that we have we persevered and had patience and humility along the way and adjusted, and
will continue, you know, faith that will continue to pivot as necessary in different ways, but it's really great to see that we're making the inroads that we hoped.
Absolutely.
So, and
Thank you.
I know it's been a heavy lift at Miller Driscoll and Cider Mill, the younger schools, and just getting everybody to a place that we can all kind of learn and grow together. So it's fantastic to see.
It has been fantastic to learn alongside all of our colleagues when we're all in different places. It's been a journey for sure.
Do we have all the resources that you need? I was on a Miller Driscoll PTA meeting, and I think one of the, I can't remember who it was and whether it was an interventionist, was wanting a PTA grant for some resources. It was some interventionist or special ed teacher, and I was just wondering if there were gaps in the resources.
I budget for tier 1, and the story that I told you today was a story of tier 1. But I will definitely look into that and make sure that people have what they need. We just did some weeding of the garden as we look to shift from balanced literacy interventions to structured literacy interventions, because we need to be speaking the same cohesive language when we're working with learners.
Any other questions for Karen?
I promise you, I will email you by the end of the day your data charts and your notes.
And we'll, you know, for people out there listening, we'll make sure they get posted in a minute to the meeting.
You got it.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, I know we're running late tonight.
Yeah, I'd expect it to run late.
Okay,
So,
I just wanted, you know,
yeah, we'll
acknowledge.
grind through the rest of it here.
Okay. Next up is an update from you on the Genesis lease.
Yeah, so I'd hoped to have a lease document tonight to walk through with you. I don't have that. We're down to the last detail that we're back and forth between our attorneys and theirs. So just an update, we are looking to occupy space over down to 187 Danbury Road. That is progressing. There are kind of, two major processes we had to work through. One was coming to terms with the lease, and then the second was working with the town on getting the zoning variance, and then just getting the so the variance has been approved by P&Z as a month or so ago, and they're in a couple of last stages to that process, and then the next step is to work with the town to make sure that they can verify all of the life safety things that are in the space are in the space, which we're not worried about. So it'll just be a question of finalizing those pieces. So I think when next we meet, I'll actually have the terms that I can share with all of you.
And it's still set for September to be ready to go.
Yeah. I think we're definitely kind of closing in.
Okay.
We've then had quite a bit of back and forth with the property manager. He's wanting to make sure that on his side they have enough time to. There's not much interior work that needs to be done in the space. A couple walls need to be moved, a couple others need to be taken down. But they want to be able to honor their commitment as we need them to honor their commitment. And so it's just
I guess it's really August.
There's been I think more back and forth and some time delays with the just coming to terms on the lease. But I think we're still in the zone of ready to go. And for some reason there's a delay. We're always flexible in all things, and so we'll manage it should we need to.
What is the date that you need to have things finalized in order to get your tenant improvements done?
So we're hoping to have a lease agreement by between tomorrow or Monday, Tuesday of next week. And so we just we're down to one final detail that we just need to agree.
Okay. But is there any cushion beyond that if it doesn't get worked out?
Well, I think again, it's what's the perception, what's the reality? I don't know from the property manager that they've got a hard and fast timeline. I think he's projecting that they need some time. So.
And is he absorbing the tenant improvements, or is that something that comes out of your budget?
No, all of the changes are on their dime.
Okay.
Yeah, and then again, there's not many, right? It's some cosmetic work, and then the floor plan, some minor alterations.
Any other questions for Ken on the Genesis lease? Facilities work, I see Jose with us tonight.
So ask Jose to come forward. We have some major projects kicking off in just a couple of weeks, and so Jose, thanks for hanging in there.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, thank you all for having me. Just wanted to provide a update of potential work that's taking place this summer in our district. To start us off at Miller Driscoll, I want to thank the PTA for their generous donation. We're going to be putting a shade structure in the preschool area, which is very nice. We're going to be issuing the PO within the next day or so that we could get the equipment ordered. In talking with Kathy, a bunch of students were making recommendations that we should put water fountains out in the playground area. So we're going to go ahead and get that done this summer. That's going to be on the exterior of the building at the main playground area. So we got that in the works. I just have to pull the permit, and that'll be done before school starts. So we're excited about that, and we want to make sure that the students are getting what they want. So outside,
turning the water off.
Yeah, you want no outside water frozen.
And so we're working that out now, and we're working through the building officials, but it'll get done. So we're excited about that. At Cider Mill, I'm working with Janine on painting some corridors over at Cider Mill School. Last year we did the Cannondale area. We're gonna locate another area that we want to take care of. So I'm working on that. I'm doing an RFP to get that done. So this summer that'll take place. That includes painting the walls, door frames, ceilings, just to sprucing up the space. All the classrooms are already done. So we just want to focus on the common areas. Middlebrook is where we're going to be spending quite a bit of our time this summer. The 6 and 7 green was painted. The flooring was done. We're going to finish up that project this summer by replacing all the ceiling tiles, put in new LED lights, new exit signs, and then emergency lighting in that space. That's for 6, 7 green. We also have an asbestos abatement project that we're working on now that will be put in front of the Board of Selectmen on their agenda on the 15th. That's going to take care of the remaining parts of the building that have carpet, the historic part of the building where you come in, the corridors. We're going to also address the corridor going by the gymnasium. There's going to be the cafeteria getting done, the back side of the cafeteria, and then the corridor going up to the auditorium. That's all going to be abated and put down new LVT flooring. We're also going to address the 8 green classrooms. Those are all going to be replaced as well. And then we have a plan for next year to finish up the remaining building. So we're in the process of doing that. That's a little over $580,000 that we're going to present. And we feel we could get it done. We want to take advantage of our summers and try to get as much work done as possible. So, and there's also at Middlebrook, we're going to be taking the gym offline. We're going to refurbish the entire gym floor, sand it down. We have professionals coming out to do that. So that's going to be a nice addition there. I haven't committed to it yet, but I would like to try to get the cafeteria section done as well, the ceiling tiles and lights and the exit signs. I just have to engage where my guys are. I don't want to give them more than they could handle, and I don't want to set them up for failure, but they're telling me that they could get it done. But again, I'm trying to proceed cautiously, but if we do, it'll be an additional perk to try to get done. So I'm working on that with Jeff Pardo now to try to see if we could get the funds available, which we already have. It's just getting it approved. At the high school, we're going to be renovating the second floor newing restrooms. Those are definitely need to be done. So I'm doing an RFP on that to try to see where that number comes in at. I think the number I have it's a good number that I put in the budget, but I would like to continue to do that as we transition and finishing up Middlebrook and then get to the high school, which is a couple years out. But we definitely need to, put some money into that school, and that's something I want to start off is by addressing those restrooms. Those are heavily used by our athletic, the weight room. So we want to address that. And then at the Genesis program, as soon as that contract is signed, we want to install cameras. We have to do a badge access system, which our electrician Lou is going to take care of that as soon as school gets out. So he's already got that lined up. I don't think there's really much else that we have to do. Like Dr. Smith said, the contractors or the company that's in charge there is going to be removing walls, so it's very minimal. But once they get it done, we'll get in there and have it ready. So they're ready for that. District-wide, something that we want to address is all our parking lots. We need to repaint all our parking lots. We're going to do that internally. I sent our machine out to get service, so we're ready to tackle that project. So there'll be emails going out to each principal to kind of block off certain parts of the parking lot so that we could get that done. It's very cost effective for us to do it. It just costs too much money to get it outsourced, and we could use that money elsewhere. Just to give you an update, we have this fiber optic project that we're working on. We're probably 70% done. There was a lot of hiccups that we ran into, but we overcome them. We figured it out. We reconnected some conduit across from Town Hall that was damaged. And thankfully, with the support of the town, they've been very, very helpful, especially the highway department. Just today, they just finished up running the trench from Cider Mill to the stadium. The conduit's in, they'll be finishing that up tomorrow. I would say probably in another week or two, we should have all the fiber installed, and then they should be doing testing. And I'm working with Derek, our IT director, on making sure that connection is done. So we're definitely gonna meet the deadline of June 30th. And the project's going actually smooth now. In the beginning, it was a little bumpy, but we got it done. We're getting it done. So,
Can I ask you one question on that conduit? Yeah. While you got the trench in place, I know our Parks and Rec director was wondering whether we're getting double duty out of that trench or no?
Yeah, we are. So I just couldn't wait for the Parks and Rec to put the lights in there. So we added an additional conduit there. So there's double there, and then we're already issued the PO for the 4 light fixtures that are gonna go out there. So that's all in the works. As soon as the school system is done or the school year is done, our electrician's gonna go out there and wire everything up. So, and again, working with the town, they're gonna help us do the footings. So we got everything's already ordered. We're just waiting to execute it. So that's gonna be nice. And we're gonna tie into the concession stand there. They have enough power for us to energize the fixtures there. So that's pretty much it. I mean, on top of the regular work that the custodians do, there's a lot.
Yeah, so Jose, do you want to just comment, because we got that Jeff Pardos facilitating the roof replacement here and then the chiller project.
So, thank you for reminding me of that. So the LLC is taking place this summer. The roof, the skylights, that's gonna take effect on the 23rd. Which a portion of our central office parking lot, which I'll be emailing Dr. Smith and everyone who parks there, will be offline because that's gonna be the staging area to have their equipment, the crane. So Jeff and them will be handling that. And then also at Cider Mill this summer, they're gonna be replacing the insulation in the corridor that runs from the main office down to the backside of the cafeteria along where Comstock is, over to the left, because that insulation there needs to be replaced. And then over the end of the spring, this upcoming spring, they're gonna take the actual chiller that's in the back of the building offline, demo it, and then the new chiller will arrive during the fall. That will get connected, and then it'll be up and running by the time spring comes the following year. So there's a lot of work that's getting done, but again, we're having meetings with contractors now weekly just to kind of make sure that the equipment is ordered, what the lead times are. That's one of the biggest challenges we have, because we were trying to push to get it done over the summertime, but we just couldn't run the risk of that chiller not being up and ready to run. How would you cool an entire building? So we decided to defer it and then get it up and running during the wintertime, and then test it out and have it ready to go in the springtime. So those are projects that we're working on now. There's RFPs that are gonna go out for the LLC roof that we're working on now for next year, to replace 2 rooftop units up there, and then the entire roof above the LLC. So there's a lot that's happening in the next couple of years, which is good. But we gotta just continue to keep going. So, yeah. Any questions?
No, thank you.
You're welcome. And there's copies of this I left with Lucille if you would like to have a copy.
Thank you. Thank you all just for your, all your guys, your hard work, and, what was done at Middlebrook so far has been amazing, and I can't wait to, see it continue, and just the coordination and the management has been really excellent. So, as, we make our way through the buildings and the laundry list that needs to get done, just really thank you to you and your crew, because you're making it a more pleasant experience.
Yeah, Jose's been terrific.
Appreciate it.
In terms of really managing a lot of discrete details and fluid timelines. He's doing that very effectively and pushing these projects forward assertively, that's taking some work as well. But he also is working very cost effectively, and so in hiring, you've heard the story here around the budget table. We've hired some staff who are very capable, and so we have been able to save a lot of money by using our staff to do quite a bit of that. That's a real benefit to the town that we should repeat often.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I'm repeating it right now.
We're excited. I'm excited for when school starts at Middlebrook, just to be there on the first day, so we can see all the students when they walk in and see all that carpet removed, and it's gonna be pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, it'll be great. So thank you all. Thank you very much.
I'll let my team know too.
Yes, it's much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you. Draft 27-28 calendar.
Great, so for your review on the agenda, and when next we meet, I'll have this on for discuss and approve. It's the first draft of the 27-28 calendar. You'll see the start and end dates are similar to where they've been in recent years. The calendar very closely mirrors the 26-27 calendar. The only change I'm going to make going forward is to plug in the date for graduation. And so I'll add that to the calendar. As I've shared with you in the past, we've changed our practice when the law changed. And so we are recommending the graduation date be adopted sooner before there are any interruptions to the or changes to the calendar because of weather or what have you. So with current law, if we have an established graduation date that's on the calendar, as long as it's not prior to the first 180 days of school, then that date can stand regardless of what happens with weather or other interruptions to the school year. So just another benefit to the community and families. We try to publish that date earlier, but I think adding it to the calendar going forward will just be part of our new routine. So,
Any questions on that?
Similar, going back to, I'd hope to have unexpended funds recommendation. So, just going back to Lila's commentary, with some of the, just recent changes with our healthcare costs, we need a little bit more time. And so I'm thinking by mid-July, as Lila mentioned earlier, we'll have a recommendation. We're not anticipating a lot of unexpended funds, and so we'll have an articulated recommendation later this summer.
And what we, what I would recommend is we do have the ability now to have the unexpended funds put into a separate account instead of returning it to the town, so that we have that money for future use for educational purposes. I have been in communication with Don Sabo on the town side because that fund needs to be set up officially. So we are working on that, so that any unexpended funds that we have, my recommendation would be that we put in that. But I'll have a better number for you once we get a little further along.
Great, thank you. Moving, any questions on unexpended funds? Open choice enrollment recommendation?
Great, so I'm asking the board for a motion to approve my recommendation to open a maximum of 3 kindergarten seats to Norwalk students that participate in Project Open Choice. You saw in the briefing summary, our first 3 years of participation in the Open Choice program have been successful. We currently enroll 12 Open Choice students. We anticipate they'll all return. Next year, we'll have 1 student in grade 4, 3 in grade 3, 5 in grade 2, and then 3 in grade 1. All of them seem to be doing very well. The cost of adding additional students is marginal. We don't absorb the full per pupil cost when we take these students on. The Connecticut State Department of Education provides a grant of $3,000 per open choice student. In fiscal 26, we received $38,146 plus an additional $2,146 as a bonus for students that enroll 10 or more students in a district. Transportation is provided at no cost to the district. The RESC, in our case CES, is responsible for transportation. And then there's a separate provision that should one of the open choice students require special education services, that's really incumbent upon the sending district. And so we absorb up to the grant amount that we're provided per student. So in this case, it's $3,000, and then it's up to the sending student to absorb the additional cost. So the last piece, and this is one that I've been looking at for some time, we need to continue to monitor enrollment. I shared with you where we are in terms of what we're anticipating versus where we are in terms of current registration, and then what that's looked like historically. My best guess today is that we are going to be under enrolled per the projection from our demographer back in the fall by somewhere, between, 12 and 20 students, give or take. And so I just modeled out simply based on those projections and what we're anticipating, average class sizes if we ran 14 sections, which we have this year, and if we ran 13 sections. Both of those averages include 3 open choice students, and they're well within our range. And so I don't have concerns about adding open choice students based on enrollment and registration, even if we collapse a section. I also included for you, for those of you that weren't on the board in 23 when the board approved the initial participation in open choice, just so you have the history. So, that memo is there attached to the agenda. So you can see a bit of the, Wilton's long history of, participating in I think it's a project concern initial way back in the day, kind of where we are with open choice today.
Any questions for Kevin on his request? Is there a motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation to open a maximum of 3 kindergarten seats to Norwalk students participating in Project Open Choice?
Sorry, I just said,
Oh,
I
sorry.
do have one quick question.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make sense of the numbers here. Like, you're saying 258 is your projection for next year?
258 was the projection from M&P. If you kind of look,
the current estimated.
look at current and estimated. So my estimate based on registration, I think we're going to land around 245.
So you're actually expecting we're going to decline next year?
I do. I think we're going to be under the under the projection, correct? Yeah, and so we historically take about 20 new registrations on average over the summertime, and so we're. I didn't look at the numbers today, but I think we're tracking for around 245. I don't know if you've looked at them.
233 right now. 233.
Okay, yeah. So so then we could be a little higher. Than
Counting, but yes.
3.6. And then you said something about consolidating a section down to 13.
So we haven't made a decision yet whether or not, and so there's an opportunity if we need to, either from budget savings or to because we didn't with it, but that's something Kathy and I started to talk about.
Whether you run like 13 or 14.
Yeah, and so we've got some shifting with staffing right now, and so we're going to continue to watch for a little bit, and then we'll make a decision about whether it's 14 sections or 13 sections.
Then this shows average class sizes of like 18 to 19. Is that the size you aim for? Do you aim for less?
It's a range, right? It's a range, and so so I would say anywhere from 17 to 19 is what we aim for, generally speaking.
Got it. I guess the reason I ask is like if this is, it sounds like you said you're 233 today. Mm-hmm. You're saying at 245, you'd be at 18.8. Right, if you add 2 to that, 3 to that, you start to like trip into that 19.
That's includes
245 assumes the.
Oh, and the 233 assumes that the 3 includes the 3 right now.
Okay, so you're sitting at 230 today. Mm-hmm. Got it.
Good. Any other questions? So I'll just repeat the request for, is there a motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation to open a maximum of 3 kindergarten seats to Norwalk students participating in Project Open Choice?
So moved.
Thank you, Nicola. Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you, Lori. Any questions or discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Okay. Policy and Regulation 5118, attendance of non-resident students. And this is our second read, where the change we discussed and show here is to return to our prior 2017 policy where employees who wish to enroll their children no longer pay tuition. Are there any questions or discussion on policy 5118? Is there a motion to approve policy 5118, attendance of non-resident students as proposed? Is there a motion? Does anyone want to make a motion?
I'm not gonna make a motion on that.
Oh, okay.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Nicola. Okay. Is there any questions or discussion? Is there a sec?
Thank you, I was gonna ask if you got a second.
What, is there a second?
A second.
Lori seconded?
You're allowed to make a motion.
No, well, technically
It's a small board, you're allowed.
yeah,
You're allowed.
yeah,
That's
okay.
true.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Mark abstains. Policy 4132, professional publications and presentation by staff. This is also a second read. I feel like mine.
Where's the document is missing?
Yeah.
Missing a paragraph.
Is it missing a paragraph?
We lost something coming over to the
Yeah.
meeting system. So why don't we just table this?
Let's table that
until
till we get,
have a better
yeah.
document?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, yes, the T-Val's next, the proposed revisions to the teacher evaluation and support plan.
Sure. So our professional evaluation and learning committee has come to consensus on some minor changes to the teacher evaluation plan, and I gave you a memo about that. The first one is to just specify the tools that we're using to measure student growth. And then the second one is to offer an option for our tenured teachers as part of their observation process. So every 4 years, we do what's known as an in-depth evaluation of our tenured teachers. Historically, that has occurred during a 2-week period of time that involves 1 formal and 2 informal observations. This new option would be to have informal observations every month with immediate in-person feedback. We've been piloting it and received some very positive feedback. And so it's not that we're getting rid of the other, it's just that there's going to be 2 options that the teacher and his or her evaluator can discuss in terms of what would meet their needs the best. There is a process here where the appeal committee has to agree to the changes. I have to bring it to you, you have to agree to it, then I have to submit it to the state and they have to agree to it. So there's kind of a timeline here. And I would need to submit it over the summer so that it's ready to go in September.
And this has been approved by the appeal committee
Yes,
and.
we came to consensus.
Yes, you keep to consensus. Are there any questions for Chuck on the teacher evaluation and support plan? I
I will make a motion to.
Even smaller to make them all.
I know, yes. I'll make a motion to approve the teacher evaluation and support plan as with the proposed revisions as articulated on June 4th, 2026. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Nicola. Any questions or discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Mark is abstaining. I'd like to bring forth a proposal and a motion to cancel our summer meetings of July 9, 23 and August 6. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Lori. Any questions or discussion?
I have a question about, do we need to, if there's any money left over, do we need to vote on that?
Yeah, I'm gonna have you vote, so we'll schedule a special
It
meeting.
would be a
Okay,
special.
all right, okay.
And also just the way the policy works with the unexpended funds is you can put it in the account and it could just be held there and we can vote to expend it at any point in time. So, yes.
Just practically, this means there will be another meeting 2 weeks from tonight.
Yeah, which I'm gonna recommend we modify also because Soaring Head is I think it starts at 6:30. Yeah, so.
But we'll figure out
And
that.
then we pick up again August 20th, is that correct?
Yes. Yes. All in.
Is this in honor of the World Cup? Or?
What? All in favor?
Oh,
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Comments from the public? Is there any online? Is anyone still awake?
There are no comments.
Future businesses, we still have a meeting on the books for next week, the 18th, which we will look for communication on modifying that to accommodate Soaring Ahead. And then we will see each other again on August 20th, and also the enrollment report is attached to the documents tonight. Meeting adjourned at 9:50.